Hi everybody, if you are wondering how you can use tarot in your everyday, I'm getting a message here. Okay, if you're wondering how you can use tarot in your everyday, which is a question I get often, I've got quite a few or just a few videos that are out about this right now, and today's topic is actually coming out because that's what I like to focus on and help people through either when they're ready to come out or after they're coming out, which is one of the most challenging things to do. So today we're talking about tarot in your everyday, especially in the coming out experience. It is not unusual for certain cards to appear during during a reading for someone who is anticipating coming out, thinking about coming out, if they're questioning whether they should come out. And when we talk about coming out, it tends to live in the space of someone who's coming out as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, sometimes asexual. We're seeing a lot more under the transgender umbrella, things like non-binary, agender. So coming out is a pretty personal experience, and it has so much application in the tarot. There's a great set of blog posts out by Little Red Tarot talking about how to queer the tarot, where we get an experience of how to look at the tarot through a queer lens. I started working on the fool's journey of what it means to survive coming out and how you look at the fool's journey through the major arcana, trying to have an experience of coming out. So at the point of coming out, what does the fool go through as he goes through the major arcana? And I'm working through that still. There's several posts out there about that you can find on comingouttarot.com/blog. But there's also different ways that you can experience the tarot in your everyday related to coming out. So first, besides the fact that there are patterns, which I'm going to talk about in a second, there are also spreads you can use to better understand coming out. Sometimes coming out will show up in a spread that has nothing to do with coming out. You'll just see the cards line up. But you might also need to come out as a tarot reader. So tarot every day related to coming out could mean you might need to tell other people that you're a tarot reader. So start with number one, let people know that you're a tarot reader. And I make that sound easy. It's not. It's still something, at least for some of us, it's not. It's still something I work on. I still have to, kind of like coming out as gay, or even rethinking about reclaiming the word queer. It's hard to tell people. And it's hard to tell people because you're not sure what their reaction is going to be, and that always feels a little bit uncomfortable. So my advice for that, and what I'm trying to live by myself, is own it. Because the more authentic you are, which is also my word for 2019, the more authentic you are, the more you bring to the table, the more you resonate with other people, and the better everything's going to be. So first, coming out as a tarot reader. Second, if you're someone who loves spreads and you're already working on spreads, then there's multiple, you can research all over the place and find spreads for yourself for coming out. But I think some of the things that are most important, especially for someone who likes to make up spreads, are thinking about the environment that the person who needs to come out is in, are thinking about what's at stake for the person who needs to come out, thinking about the benefits of coming out. So is there a good reason to come out, or does it even matter? And then who can help them along the way? Who might be the person that teaches them what's on the other side of coming out? For those of us that have come out and continue to come out, there's always something on the other side. So having that kind of perspective is something I also think is helpful. So adding in some more tarot besides spreads and talking about tarot, being open to tarot, is sometimes how the cards line up themselves. And there's an argument for multiple cards within the deck as standing out as cards related to coming out. For example, Temperance is an easy one. Temperance lets us have that dichotomy of two things that are opposed to each other trying to come together, and that is quite often the coming out experience. You feel one thing, you assume or know that someone else feels something else, and you're trying to find some mutual ground based on whatever it is that you have to come out about. Strength is another one. Having the strength to come out is a requirement. Sometimes you may not know that you even have summoned the strength. It may happen without your knowledge or request. The strength just may be there based on certain experiences. Death is a great one because you're leaving behind one set of experiences, beliefs, values, and moving into an entirely new one. Potentially, but there's also the death of the old sexuality if we're talking about coming out as gay and leaning into the new one. These are both great cards related to transgender issues and releasing what no longer serves and allowing yourself to be who you've always meant to be. So there's a lot of different opportunities within the deck of recognizing coming out in your everyday. I hope this is helpful. If it is, don't forget to hit that thumbs up so I know it's helpful and so it gets in front of other people. Do subscribe if you haven't already so we can keep track of each other. And if there are other things that you'd like to learn more about how tarot can be a part of your everyday, leave me some comments below. Let me know what you're thinking, what you have questions about, and how I can help you better understand tarot. Thanks, everybody.